Hi, I'm Lauren Conlon, and I have internal struggles too. The first time I realized I had an eating disorder was when I was getting therapy for my eating disorder. As many people who have dealt with something like that, you don't typically see yourself in the situation. You maybe know that something's wrong, but you don't know what it is. So I have struggled with anorexia from a very young age, all the way, through middle school. So I'm a perfectionist by nature. So anorexia a lot of times is fueled by perfectionist tendencies and just having control over things. And the one thing you really do have total control over is what you eat and how you eat. So it just really stemmed into a problem. It was all internal. I never had anyone tell me I was fat. Nobody ever made fun of me. This was way before social media and things like that. I just, in my own head, created what I should look like and how I should eat. And it really was truly all internal dialogue that I made up for myself. So in order to deal with all of that, I found different competitive outlets to kind of fuel those behaviors and those habits in a more positive way. So when I got to high school, I started running track and cross country, and then I found competitive bodybuilding. At this time, it was still fairly new, and I was just totally enamored by the figure girls. I went to my first show in 2010, and I was like, I have to do this some way, shape, or form. I also started college, and I was a dietetics major, and then I switched to exercise science, and then eventually went on to do my master's and also do research in that area. So I started pushing what was before a negative tendency towards hyper-focusing on eating and training into more positive outlets. And then through all that, I started my business, which was coaching people and helping people. When I started it, it was really small. I obviously started with one client like everyone does, and I wasn't even really sure what I was doing or how big that would be, but it all stemmed from trying to help people figure out how to balance their health and nutrition. So for 6 years, I identified as a student and an athlete. All throughout undergrad and graduate school, I was competing, and that was really what I was doing. Like I said, I had the business, but it was really small, and it wasn't necessarily my focus. And then this past year, I have graduated from a master's program, and the business is full-time, and I actually haven't been competing because of some injuries. So it's been this really weird, another internal kind of struggle of, am I doing things right? Am I doing things wrong? I've created this, persona of student and athlete, and I've held myself to that. And so it has been really hard. Nobody's told me, again, kind of like going back to the eating disorder, nobody told me that I was fat, and that's why I stopped eating. Nobody's telling me that I'm doing a bad job, but it's been this weird internal struggle that I created this life and this identity, and now it's completely gone and taken away from me. And how am I going to deal with that? And as many of you probably know, if you've competed or you've ever had an eating disorder, things like body dysmorphia and just disordered eating tendencies really come up to the surface really easily. So since I haven't been competing, and again, I've kind of created this persona for myself, I almost feel like, oh, should I even be on social media? Do I even represent things as well? Like, look at me, I don't look like how I compete. So how did I channel all of these thoughts into positives once again? So this huge transition in my life. So I've put my energies into new ventures, new projects. I've associated myself with new brands. So I'm really, really excited. There's a ton of new things that I'm doing. And whether it's through my business, whether it's through seminars or sponsorships or just content with podcasts and YouTube that I've started, I have trying to put my energy into these things. And I also feel like it's made me a better coach because I can be more relatable to people. And instead of just being like this robot who was always just like, I'm just going to follow all this and this is all that I do, I've been through the ups and downs like a lot of people have. And nobody's life is perfect, especially when it comes to eating and how they feel about themselves. So I feel that I can relate so much better, which is my ultimate goal as a coach, is to always be relatable and help people the best way that I can. My motivation is to better myself, which will ultimately better other people.